Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. We are so excited that you are here on another edition of ARIVE Partner Spotlight. This is a new series that we launched a few months ago, where we bring in experts from our industry who talk about topics which are relevant in today's market. You know, it is a tough market we have these days, so we are very excited that we have two awesome, phenomenal panelists with us today who will talk about how do you create impact. Windsor Mortgage and Clear Mortgage are big champions of ARIVE. They have been partners of ARIVE for more than a year now. So we appreciate all their support with us. So we have Chris Vinson from Windsor Mortgage and Adriana Bates, broker owner of Clear Mortgage, joining us. My name is Harish Tejwani. I'll be your moderator today. And our host is Amy Hulett. And before I hand it over to Amy, I want to talk about one thing I like both about Chris and Adriana.
Oh, God. Sure. No.
It'll be less than 30 seconds. So I met Adriana about end of 2021, and she's very process focused, very process oriented. She makes sure she has processes and systems all in place, and then she will measure them. She talks about KPIs. She says, if you cannot measure anything, what's the point in having these systems? And we are so excited to see what she has to say today. One thing about Chris, Chris loves coaching others. So we love that Chris is so generous that he shares all the knowledge, all the wisdom he has with others. And he truly believes, success is not what you make in your life, but what you help others make in their life. So thank you, Chris, for joining us today. And without further ado, Amy, do you want to kick it off?
Yes, thank you, Harish. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Chris and Adriana, for your time today and what you're really going to share with everyone joining us on this call. When we were all kind of discussing our topic for today, the word focus kept popping up into my mind. And when we focus on how we're spending our day, ensuring our actions, are meaningful to our business plan, this is where we can really create impact and allow for growth in our relationships. And then hopefully that just really translates into loans. And that's, I think, why we're all here today is to get business, figure out how to create more business in this market. So Chris and Adriana, you both have a lot of really good tried and true action items that you are going to share. And so I'd love to just kind of jump right in, get this started. Harish, if you can prepare our question for us. So big question of the day is, how do I get more loans as a loan officer? Chris, can you kind of guide us here?
Yeah, I think the one thing to get more loans, you got to get more leads. And I think that being out there and being able to create more leads is not an emotional thing, which I think a lot of loan officers are creating a lot of emotion around it. It's simply a number. And so how do I get myself to get more loans? Well, I think looking at your daily activity and looking at your calendar is probably the first step. When a loan officer doesn't have as many leads right now, sometimes when we get slower, we work less. And when we get busier, we work more. And being able to break that habit, I think Adriana will also be able to, really add flavor to that of getting more loans. But first step is that, do you have a realtor list that you're targeting? And maybe the first thing that you need to do is go back to your contracts for the last 3 years and look at every purchase that you worked on and pull apart the buyer's agents and the seller's agents that you've already worked with. Maybe that is the first step. So whether you love to work with realtors or you hate working with realtors, I can tell you, for the future of your career, you have to get good at working with realtors, builders, and in your database. So Adriana, what would be like one thing that you feel in getting more loans today under the realtor type bucket that all originators need to be doing today?
Sure. And Chris hit it right on the head. You need to know who the buyer's agent is on each transaction and who the listing agent is on each transaction. And if I hope that you have transactions that are currently active in your pipeline. The best way that you could instantly get a loan in your pipeline today is to go through, give a simple update, keep it very generic, make sure it's planned to both the buyer's agent, the listing agent, and the title agent on each transaction that you have in your pipeline. give them an update, and make sure that you have a call to action at the end of that call. We call it the 3x3. Hey, do you have any friends, family, coworkers that are looking to buy, sell, refi in the next 6 months? That's it. If we don't use your 3x3 on any of your update calls or have a specific call to action, then why are you even making those calls?
Yeah. You know, the one thing that's weird about our business is, I wouldn't say it's weird, but it's common, is that a lot of people, I would say 60% of the time, I don't actually know the exact number, but around 60% have a bad experience in some type of mortgage transaction. And so reminding the client that you're currently working with is that I don't want someone to have a bad experience. And if I can help them, I want to help. So who do you know? But also, I think one thing that we do with when we get a lead, we rush to the app. The app is the transactional part, and we're not curious enough to understanding what was the motive that made him think about buying a house or getting a bigger house, or what was it? Are you looking for this kitchen so that you can have your whole family over? Was it an extra bedroom? Like what is it that you're looking forward to the most in a house? And a lot of originators are rushing to an app. It's like we get so excited. I have a lead, I have an app, I get to pull credit, I'm gonna get them into a house, and we don't stop and get curious enough about our customers.
I love
So-
that. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Adriana.
I think in short, how do I get more loans? So we stay on that bullet point. We need to get back to the basics. Make sure you have a plan, make sure you know who you're calling every day of the week, and block it off. Treat it as an appointment to make more money. The more no's you receive each day, the more money you will have on payday.
So if anyone has any questions, we have a Q&A tab. We will be moderating questions as they come in. So no, we have these two amazing guests. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them.
So before we go on to that next piece, is I think that if you're thinking about working with real estate agents, you need to have a metrics. To me, I think you need to be in front of 3 to 5 real estate agents face-to-face per week. And you need to create a list of a minimum of 25 agents that you either are working with or you want to work with. Look,
Chris taught me this. Wait, Chris, don't even tell them that. Remember what you taught me? Are those agents that you're actually meeting with agents that you should be meeting with, right? Are they actually qualified? Chris told me, and this is a good point. Chris told me this, a couple months ago. Adriana, are those qualified agents that you've been working with actually still qualified? The market shifted, guys. We know this. So re-qualify them. You don't want, as much as we hate to say it, you don't want to spend time with someone that doesn't have anything going on in their business right now. You want to spend time with people that are weathering through this shift in our industry and that are actually closing deals.
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, you can get that data by MMI or several different avenues, but understanding what it is and understanding, are they working on the buyer side, the seller side? How many transactions did they have? Making sure you're working with it. Look, I think you could work with too big of an agent too. And so I like a 20 to $25 million agent. I think they're in the weeds. They're the perfect referral source. And if you're going to target it, my opinion, that's a perfect target list.
Our minimum that we put inside of Clear Mortgage for our loan officers when they're prospecting them is 8 buy sides a year. That's the minimum. So if they're closing at least 8 buy sides in a year, based on the previous 12-month history, either you get it from MMI. Remember, talking to brokers that own real estate brokerages are your friends. They're going after the same agents that you are going after. So mastermind with them, get their prospect list, and then use that as a script to be like, hey, you have to understand, in the loan industry, we talk to agents every day. We know when agents are upset at the brokerage that they're currently at. You can be their pseudo recruiters, and in exchange, they'll make sure that you're the lender that they refer to their agents that are coming on board.
Cool.
So we have a good question coming here. Like, any other systems you can recommend? Chris, you mentioned MMI. Are there other systems our brokers can use to find these qualified agents?
There's a company that sells the list too out there that you can buy them. But I would make it one of your calls. Sorry, Chris, you can take over this. I would make it one of your calls to call a broker that you know well and have them run that report for you through whatever data that you have in your MSA. And I know they're all different. You know, MLS will do it in some metros and it won't in others. So I would talk to your broker owners that own real estate brokerages and have them pull their prospect list too.
Yeah, I think title companies is a great referral of, who's a very active agent. But also, to Adriana's point, working with real estate agents and figuring out that data is just part of the recipe, right? If we're going to go make chocolate chip cookies, you're going to have a recipe you're going to follow. Some of it we just memorized it. Some of it you probably want to follow. And here's the thing, MMI is, I think, a really good way to consistently get good data. But to Adriana's point, not every MLS reports well to that system. And so it's just one. Title companies could be another. Broker owners is one.
Yep.
And you're looking for agents that you can connect with. But the thing is that you're building a relationship. And this is not going to happen overnight. This is like when you turn your thermostat, right? It's 80 degrees in your house. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's so hot. And you're like, I want it to be 68. It's not going to go from 80 to 68 in 5 minutes. Like it's going to
Wait,
go
but we want it to so
79.
badly. What are you talking about? That's how we just want that instant gratification, Chris.
I know. I have the patience. My wife says I have the patience of a grasshopper. I think that means bad. But what I'm saying is it takes time. And you didn't meet your spouse. And then at the end of the first date said, we should get married. But
I love that, Chris. And I love that you bring that up. If someone says, yes, I want to work with you and I'm going to send you all my buyer referrals right now, know that they will do the same thing to you, because look how quickly they broke their relationship that they have right now. If they're established and they're producing business, then they have these relationships already established. So use the plan B script when you're making these calls. Listen, I understand and respect relationships. I'm not asking to jump in to be your number one right now, but please let me be your plan B lender, so that when your current lender is on vacation, doesn't answer, or can't get a deal done, I would love to be the person that you call to possibly help, because every buyer right now needs to be at least given 2 options so that we can try to get that deal done. The business is too slow to turn away anyone.
Yeah. And I'm going to give you one little thing that I think really works by showing your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So you're working really hard. You're connecting with the realtor. You're not really getting anywhere. And if I called Adriana, I said, Adriana, listen, can you do me a favor? Is there one person in your database that you really, truly want to be able to get into a house, but you haven't figured out how to get them approved? Every realtor has one customer just like that. You're like, look, I want that customer. I want to work with that customer as a project to be able to help them get into home ownership. When a realtor sees your true heart, that you're willing to go help somebody get into a home, and you're going to do whatever it might take you 6 months, but the heart gets shown. And when they see that, that's a start of a great little relationship. The second thing is
go ahead.
The second thing is that when you're calling real estate agents and you're saying, oh my gosh, I don't want to be annoying, I'm calling 6 or 7 times. Look, isn't that consistency? Isn't that what a realtor really wants in a lender? And I think that many times we make it about us and not about them. And it absolutely puts us in a freeze mode, and then we simply don't call at all. What were you going to say, Adriana?
I'll piggyback on that, what you say. So if I get that, if they're like, man, you're persistent, I'm like, you think this is persistence? You should see what happens when you send me referrals. I'm going to be on them even more than I am on you. And they laugh. You can always break the ice with that and be like, man, I shoot them DMs and text messages. You're only getting my phone calls, make a joke about it. And they love that. But what I wanted to circle back with before we go too far on that, do not let the lack of access to a qualified list to prevent you from making these calls. If you don't have access to see if they're qualified or not, still call. Just, it's a little bit more efficient if you can see if they're actually closing deals right now. Calling any agent is better than calling none. If you understand what I'm saying. Like, don't try to find something as a roadblock to be like, well, can't make my calls today because I don't know if they're qualified or not. No, your butt better be using, we call it the sticky note script, what Chris talked on just then. Look up all the listing agents for the past 3 years that you've worked with. And it's a little dated, but we still use the sticky note to be like, oh my gosh, we were just reviewing our old files and we saw the sticky note about how much we loved working with you on 123 Main Street. I'd love to get another deal going with you again this month. Can I count on you for your next buyer referral? What are they going to say? No. Okay. Remember, more no's equals more money.
Also, finding out what their pain is. Like, I think a lot of realtors have pain. Here's the number one pain. They won't call their database. They won't call it. And so being able to help them through some of their pain points and being a leader in that type of space will help you get more deals because they'll start to lean on you. So when we call realtors, you have to have three things: a theme of the week. What are you teaching? What are you working on? A product, and then a story, like an evidence of success story. Some deal, somehow you saved it. You had a customer in quick. You did a cool new program, like something that you'd be able to talk to them. It's the story that they remember when they get that deal in front of them. So these are just a few things, but I think we could talk about this all day.
Can I just tell them one secret though, Chris? And yes, we could talk about this all day. Actually, we could talk about anything all day. So Amy has a very big challenge right now. So wait, but I want to give every broker owner that's on here a secret. Hey guys, Chris coaches and he tells us his theme of the week every time. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I take Chris's theme and use that for all my agents. I'm just saying. So
I didn't even know you did that. That's awesome.
well, you always told me work smarter, Bates. Don't work harder, work smarter.
That's right. Amy, we'll put it back to you.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of great ideas. There's no reason that we have to reinvent the wheel every time, right? We can lean on each other for content, for ideas, and leverage it in our business too. And so I like what you guys have said here. I mean, basically, don't make it about yourself, right? I'm not a loan officer. You all can close loans fast in wholesale, right? We know that everybody's fast, everyone's the best. I can do hard loans, but, have a real tangible success story that they can relate to and just, be a problem solver for them. What is their pain point right now and make it about them. So I love that. Okay, so let's transition on to what are missed opportunities right now, whether it's going through your database with realtors. What do you think that loan officers could be doing better to be, capturing more business right now? What are they overlooking?
I think number one thing that the loan officer is not doing is they're not interacting good enough with their pre-quals. Like pre-quals are a big deal. Number one, I think you need to be gifting. And if you reach out, I'll make sure I get you my cheesy gifts. So I love being able to send a cheesy gift once a month to a pre-qual so I can stay in front of them in branding. Number two is that I've got to connect with them. And so you can break apart the alphabet of your pre-quals, understanding how many pre-quals you want, and you have to have an impactful call once a month. Like, what if I called Amy and I said, Amy, what's your biggest struggle right now of finding a house? And she goes, there's just nothing. I can't find it. And I'm like, Amy, you have homework. I want you to go drive in the neighborhood that you want to live in. I want you to take a picture of 3 houses that you love. I don't care if it's for sale or not. Just take 3 pictures and give me the address. Okay, I'm going to understand what exactly Amy wants, and then I can give that data back over to my realtor. Hey, you're missing it. This is what they want. Go find out if they'll sell that house. Like, we've got to be better converters. We've got to be better in relationship, and we've got to help lead these realtors to be able to get more closed loans. In return, we're going to get more referrals and we're going to get more deals. Second is, I'm trying to go as fast as I can so I can give this back to Adriana. But the second thing is working denials. Look, guys, when we deny a customer, we look for an opportunity to be able to figure out how we can get them approved. The second thing is that send them a small little Blizzard coupon. And in that Blizzard coupon, say, ice cream makes everybody better. And being able to say that I want to help you get into this home. You do this, this, and this, and this, and we're going to get you there. I can get more referrals by loving on my denials. My denials will actually give me more referrals. And I know that maybe that's a project. That's going to take time to convert. But don't just send the denial letter. Like, lead with empathy, lead with a plan, and lead with some way where they can get a solution to where they can get into a house. I promise you, they will send you their friends because you did one thing. You cared. What about you, Adriana? Where do you see people missing deals on?
So I love that Vinson, and I'm working on this. Vinson is a leader with a limp. And if you haven't read that book, he should. He's starting to teach us to use a little bit more emotion and how we lead and how we interact with our clients. I'm a little bit more transactional still and techie. So one of the things that I do, he's spot on with the pre-approved and looking. So we're very structured. Every Thursday and Friday, because we have a lot right now in our pipeline, we reach out to our pre-approved and lookings and remind them that ARIVE provides the accessibility to update their pre-qual letters, to go to their agent and say, hey, I don't have to wait on our lender to be able to calculate this monthly payment. We have the technology available to do that. So I try to remind them, here's how you do that. Here's what here's how we provide that accessibility. You're not waiting on us. And then remind them that, hey, if there is something that you need us to do, whether it's record a video and submit it to the listing agent when you're making offers, whether it's me calling that listing agent and telling them what a qualified buyer you are. Yes, we can close in 15 days with our preferred partners. Windsor does this all the time. I'll tell them that we'll close it in 9 days. And then Vinson's team hates me, but I'm like, yep, we can get it done. Let's make it fly. Look at his eyes. See, we are putting it out there that this is on a case-by-case basis, and you probably have to send them a lot of volume to be able to have this accessibility. I'm just kidding. Full disclosure, you don't have to do that, but his team is awesome.
It helps.
Point is, try to make and articulate 3 value propositions for your pre-approved and lookings, okay? Remind them that you have those on Thursday and Friday, and then guess what we're doing on Monday? How did it go over the weekend? We didn't hear from you. Did you guys get stuck in soccer with your kids, or what's going on? And if they're like, well, we're just frustrated, Adriana, then again, I use Vinson's homework script and I go back to the agent to be like, look, I need you to find them a house. We've been working too hard for the last 6 months with them for them to sign this lease. We're not letting it happen. And then you go like, almost like camaraderie, and like you're getting to the battle lines with them to be like, I refuse to allow them to sign this lease. We got to make something work. Let's 2 minds are better than one. Let's figure this out. So again, we've done the hard work to get these pre-approved and lookings in our pipeline. We can't lose them when they are in that anywhere from 3 months to 6 months, and in some case a year of in the process of looking for a home. That's where we've really got to make sure that our conversion is on point.
So you really need to become a team with the realtor. I mean, what I'm hearing is it's not like, well, I did my job, right? I pre-qual them. Realtor's going to go find the house. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I'll just sit and wait, till I hear, hey, did you find anything? Okay, no, let me know. Like, I'm here. I can update your pre-qual. Like, engage with the agent, with the borrowers, like keep them on task, on track, like get them to the goal line.
And yes, exactly. And Amy, remember, every call that we make, yes, it's to check in with them, but it's not just that. We're asking for more business. Hey, I know you're excited when you're out looking for a host, or maybe you're not, but if you know anyone that's going through the same pain that you're going through right now, I'd love to help them out. Like, you've always got to be asking and for more business, because there's nothing better that we can do than to deliver a client referred referral back to that agent. Be like, look what they gave us. Here's someone else that we need to hopefully find a house for.
Yeah. And you don't want anyone else to come in and show that they're working harder than you, right? Like they need to see that you're the one who's dedicated, focused on their transaction.
I mean, we're posting on social media, we're working when you're working. And I know there's a lot of coaching clubs out there, and there's a lot of people right now that say you should not be working on weekends, that you need to tighten up during your 9 to 5. That, I think that's all gone out of the window. We have got to be in the grind mode right now. And we are working when our agents are working, whether that's after hours, on the weekends, on holidays. That's what differentiates us. And when you're talking, and I know we're jumping ahead, there's going to be like a value proposition piece in somewhere in here, but like the value prop is, we want this just as bad as you do. Your success equals our success. We're a team.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, perfect. This leads us right into our next question. So all of this that you're talking about is definitely going to create a really good experience for customers. So how do each of you think that loan officers can create raving fans? And can you define what that means, Chris?
Well, I think raving fans are the ones that would refer you. And when we think about when we go have a really cool, unique experience, what was it that made us that? I think the number one thing for every loan officer out there, remember, our customer doesn't always remember what we say, but they remember how we make them feel. And when they're starting to engage into that initial application, right? Understanding how that customer thinks is how you're going to take care of that customer. A high D personality like Adriana and myself, right? Attention to detail of every little tiny thing is maybe not as important, but having my back, taking care of me, making sure you're a little bit ahead of me is more important to me. And high detail, real quick to the answer, would be how you would work with us. As in someone else that would be an S or a C, more detailed, little tiny things, everything spelled out. So listen, when we're going to create raving fans, asking how that client wants to be communicated be step one. Do you prefer a text? Do you prefer phone? Like, I want to make sure that I'm interacting in the way my client wants. But number two is I'm always going to send that recap. So I want them to be recapped, but I want to have surprises along the way to where I am making them feel something. So whether you're gifting them, I'm sure Adriana gifts throughout that process, or she's
No, we're
serving.
cutting all.
She's the gift. She is the gift. So I love duct tape. Okay. I love duct tape. Sending duct tape with your company logo on it, having it sent to them, said, are you ready to get packed yet? And I love loving on kids. Like, who's the best at that? McDonald's. And they always love on kids. So having cool, fun, bright duct tape to be able to give to them is a fun way to be able to make them feel and make them kids feel special. So Adriana, give me things that you're doing to create raving
It's so
fans.
funny. Chris isn't even, you know, he actually does this stuff, guys. Like he's not one of these people that comes onto these, you know, webinars and is like telling people what he does. I received a box fan in the middle of a Kansas City summer that said, I'm a raving fan of yours. And he had like this emoji of this guy, a short guy that was pointing and like, hey, it was cute. I had to throw in a short joke. No one can like see us standing next to each other.
I know. You're tall.
Okay. So Harish mentioned when he first introduced me that I am a tracker. Like I have to know that I have a raving fan, guys. Like, how do we actually know that we have raving fans? Yes, if they send a referral, but not everyone is a social little butterfly and chit chats at the water cooler and talks about this experience. A lot of people keep this experience close to their chest because they have a lot of anxiety around it. And maybe they think it's braggadocious to tell people that they're buying their dream home. Okay. So not everyone is as extroverted. So we have to have metrics to know that, number one, the experience is going great for them. So in the middle of the process, we always send out a survey, guys, because that gives us either a thumbs up or thumbs down. We don't use the numbers because everyone always picks freaking 7. Like it's like 7. Right. I want to take 7 off of the thing, you know? So it's a thumbs up or thumbs down. How are we doing? It's a check-in. And if there's a thumbs down ever, we have a system and a process in place to say, okay, then we need to change this, or we need to address this, or maybe we're not communicating to them well. But lastly, we always need to get a Google review. And we have to like very clearly articulate, hey, if this was a great experience, we'd love a 5-star Google review, because we know this, that SEO is huge right now. And when the rates do dip, because they will, everything's cyclical about our industry, right? We want to make sure that our SEO backs us so that we can capture all of that business that'll come back in when this next refi boom happens. So we're trying to do these little things now to, yes, make sure that we're setting proper expectations. Yes, make sure we're delivering on them, right? So it's the whole under promise, over deliver. We live it, we breathe it, we die to that. Okay. And then you have to measure. You have to. If you're not measuring, you're failing. I just made that quote up, but I think there's a quote close to that. Like, how do you, like, there's something close to that.
Look, I think, no, we're real quick, Grace. Here's the thing that, just to back up Adriana, which does an amazing job with this, but I'm going to tell you this. Look, it's not the big, huge things. It's the little tiny things that'll create raving fans. Number one, just care more. But number two, look, Monday morning, have a meeting with your team and sit down and have everybody bring one idea of how they could create raving fans with your database, with your realtors, and with your customers that you're interacting with. Like, it is amazing what a teammate could say. It'll blow your mind of a little tiny idea that create a raving fan. Harish? So
I'll just give a shout out to Chris again on this. So on gifting thing, I love it. when we went live in ARIVE, this was mid of last year. So Chris actually sent me a gift. It was a small fan, and he hand wrote on that, Harish, you are great. I mean, you know what, the impact it has on someone, like, oh my God, this guy is taking time. It's a small gift, but it leaves a lasting impression. And as Chris said, these are these little things, you know, that truly matter, that, you know, make you believe this guy really cares about me. And then you go all out to help him the other way. So yeah, so this was just a shout out for Chris. He actually does, you know, what he says on these webinars. So thank you.
If you want to know how to create raving fans and someone needs a take-home action item, you need to get this book and read it. Just read this, start there. It's on Amazon. It's $13 or whatever. And I'm sure everyone has Audible credits that they need to use because they tell us they're going to expire every day. So use your Audible credit and listen to raving fans. Start there.
Yeah. It's 90 pages and it's big print. That's my style.
Easy to highlight, easy to remember.
What are you talking about? Julie probably gave you cliff notes and been like, this is how you become a raving fan. Read these, read this.
Takeaways.
Yeah. Don't try. Here you go. Okay.
All right, guys, let's transition on, because I know we could talk about these topics literally all day. But I think a really important topic is, you know, a plan. Adriana, we talked a little bit about this in our call, and I'd love for you to share too. You know, both of you have great ideas about why we need a plan. Is it a daily plan? Is it a weekly plan, a monthly plan, 5-year goals, whatever, right? What's the plan? Why do we need it? And then how do we execute on it? If you can give us real examples, that would be great.
I won't butcher this one. Fail the plan, plan to fail. Okay. So there is that saying, that's true. If you don't know what your goals are, and this is, and Chris, again, I'm going to take this. Chris has taught me this. Chris, we've known each other for a while now, and he has taught me that it's not just about the number of loans. It's not about the money that goes in your pocket. It's about your wheel of life balance. And if you don't know what the wheel of life is, ask Vinson for you and ask him to coach you through it. Basically looking at your entire life, from spirituality to your relationships, to your family, and where are you truly lacking? Because we all know this business can suck us in and spit us out super quick and leave you broken, because we have personalities that are very addictive. And if we don't have that balance, and if we don't plan that balance in our life, it can really ruin us. And then what are we truly working for? So where I'm going with this is every year, and it doesn't start January 1. If you start January 1, you're late. Okay. It starts in October. Start in October for your future year that's coming up, and know, what are my metrics? What are my conversions? How many agents do I need to be touching on each day? How many divorce attorneys do I need to be loving on each quarter? Wherever your business is coming in from, you need to know your metrics of how many you need. What's your conversion when you go on these meetings, and how much love do you have to love on them to actually get them to start sending you business? Once you have those metrics, those KPIs, you can futurecast how many you have to talk to, touch on, love on each day. And then you know if you win the day. So if you haven't done this yet, and if you haven't broken down your goals into those metrics, go by ours. If you win the day, if you have 13 meaningful conversations, 5 handwritten notes that go out with some sort of emotion. Thank you, Chris. You taught me that as well. And if you can't put real emotion in there, you better fake it really well. And you better put that emotion in. You better act really, really, really thoroughly that you are sad that their dog died and you saw that on Facebook, is my point. Okay. So 5 handwritten notes, 1 face-to-face meeting. And yes, Zoom does count as a face-to-face. So for you guys right now, if you don't know if you're winning the day or not, make 13 little bubbles that you check when you have each meaningful conversation, 5 handwritten notes, and 1 face-to-face, and you will be well on your way.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Adriana is really good at having a plan, and she's very good at executing. She learns, she watches, she just goes out and then goes and does it. And I think that's the cool thing that's been exciting to watch her over the last few years, is that how many things that she's actually implemented. The truth is that many of you won't implement, you won't change, and then you're frustrated with your results. And having a plan is about putting something into play. And going from 0 to 100 might be too much. But look, are you connecting with the realtors, and do you have a plan for that? Are you connecting with your database, which I know we're going to talk about here in a minute, but the database, your realtors, your VIPs, your builders, all of these things need a plan. Look, that what Adriana does, I'm sure, Adriana, don't you have a sheet or something that you fill out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will. And if you want this as a handout, a free downloadable PDF, we can definitely access it, where it's simple, guys. It's those bubbles. You can draw them yourself. Now we're making it digital for your remarkables out there, okay? Where you have yourself and your LOs literally checking the box when you make those. Now we've built it into Salesforce, and it's a little bit easier when it's digital.
Yeah, so definitely reach out to Adriana for her plan. I think each person, we have a plan, she has a plan. The thing is you got to have a plan. What are you going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? And then are you going to go work open houses? I think that in this market, that's where the leads are. We're starting to see dual offers. We're starting to see people show up. Yesterday, there was 35 people showed up for an open house, and our little retail deal in South Dakota had 14 pre-qual letters for that one property. But we were at that open house. We were present, and we're in the weeds with these realtors. So when you're working open houses, do you have a plan? Do you show up? No, you have to have a plan, and bringing a flyer is not good enough. So understanding,
No, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I said, no, it's not.
Listen, you got to know LP Mama. Are you guys ready for this? LP Mama. when a customer comes into an open house, if you're really good at it, that realtor's always going to ask you, can you come? And being good at open houses is being curious. So LP Mama, L, find out the location that they're looking at. Number 2, the price range. 3, what's your motivation? 4, which is agent, A, and M is are you pre-approved for a mortgage today? Like, being able to walk through LP Mama is a stupid way. I know it's kind of a dumb word, but it is the way for our lenders to be able to walk them through that open house. It is amazing the connections that you can make. But look, is open houses old school? Probably, but it's what it takes today to be able to get enough leads to be able to convert. And lastly is this: how much is a lead worth to you? I think if you really truly did the math, you would be more motivated to get more leads, because all you got to do is figure out how many leads did I get for the month, figure out how many that equal to an average conversion, which is around 40%, which will give you what that equals for what you get paid in commission per loan. If you go back, average commission is a little over $3,000. If you get 40 leads, you can do the math of what each lead is worth. So understanding what the lead is worth will help you be able to put that plan together.
I was laughing at your LP Mama, but one thing that I did learn, Chris did a coaching session. It was a couple months back. So he's been ahead of the game on this. He told us to go to open houses last year, and we started doing that when he was coaching us. There was someone on there, and we talked about it afterwards, that gave us the cutest idea. When you go to every open house, you bring these little Starbucks espresso shots, the coffee, because a lot of these buyers are looking at 4, 5, 6, sometimes they're popping around to a ton of open houses. Give them the Starbucks, and then you ribbon, make it pretty with your business card information, and give those out. And agents love that. They love it that you come in with a cute little thing and then they take their little Instagram, they put it on their reel, they blast you everywhere. And it's super quick. It's super simple. You buy them at Costco, so you buy them in bulk.
I always like writing the seller and being able to say, oh my gosh, you have the perfect, I was just at your place. What a gorgeous home. And your realtor is fantastic. Giving a realtor a compliment always comes back to them, and being able to reach out to the seller is a great way to be able to get another lead.
Perfect. Well, let's just go right into our next question then, because I think really all of our loan officers want to figure out how to approach realtors. I have a couple of questions for you on this. So do you find, or how valuable is locating and identifying realtors who are your personality type that you gel with? Do you only qualify them based on, the business, the production, or do you actually, try to find like-minded individuals? Do you think that works? If you can kind of share your strategy around which realtors you approach, and how long do you court them?
Chris,
Adriana, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. Okay, guys. So listen, I'm telling all of my LOs this: when the business was great and we didn't have to work that hard, you could be real picky. Okay. You could basically say, you know what? I don't want to take that 9:30 phone call. And just because she's always a disaster. Right now, we can't be as picky. So in the future, and when your business is built and when you're consistent and when you're doing it and you're winning the day every day, I think, yes, you can pick and choose who you're working with. But I don't think there's many loan officers right now that say, you know what? I've got enough in my pipeline, so I don't want to deal with Amy's little craziness right now. Everyone needs to be a chameleon and needs to mesh and adjust their personalities to wherever which way they can. That's why we're good at sales, guys. We can be a chameleon with different personality types, and needs to just pull up our bootstraps and make it work for right now. And the thing is, you can coach them to be better and to follow, and it's all with scripting. For example, if you have an LO, or maybe there's a broker owner that's watching this right now and can't stand these Sunday morning 8:30 a.m.s. Oh my gosh, I've got a person that's going into my car right now and I need to get them pre-approved. You can coach them on Thursday and say, listen, hey, who do you have that you're putting in your car this weekend that I can pre-qualify now to make sure it's a good use of your time? Okay. Use these scripts so that you start getting them to start thinking about and planning their weekends a little bit better. Again, and with real estate agents, to go back to your question about how do you get them to work with you, your value proposition better be on point and fast. You better be able to spit that out faster than 30 seconds in an elevator. We all know that we're just like Vinson right now and have grasshopper attention spans, right? We are like ready to go. If you can't tell me why you need to work with me, then you have a problem right there. What I say to my agents is, I will create more business for you. Work with me and my team. We'll build your pipelines right alongside ours. And they're like, oh, how do you do that? And then you go into your systems of how you're always asking for business, how you teach them how to market to their database. There's an amazing class that we built and we teach agents all the time. Make sure that you're marketing to their database because they're not doing it. Chris talked about that 2 seconds ago. Agents aren't marketing to their past database the way that they should be. So get your value proposition dialed in. Don't be as picky about personality types right now. And if you don't have loans in your pipeline, don't even qualify them. Agents that will take the meeting, you better take it. Sorry.
No, that's truth. Hey, that's the truth. Look, I can tell you this, that I love looking for a true partnership. I love looking for talent. And so I look at a realtor like, would I hire that person? Am I that picky? Are we that picky today? No, we're not. But look, I'm going to give you a script that says, I will fight harder for get you a referral than any other lender. And this is the script you use. So right after you get your client approved, then I want you to call the client and ask them, how was working with Adriana, the realtor? And they'll say, oh, it was great. Well, tell me what you loved about Adriana. Well, she showed us the property. She was always available. She had good follow-up. Listen, I experienced that same experience with Adriana myself, but I want to do something extra special to help Adriana. And they'll say, well, what? Look, she works by referral only. She works very hard for her clients. Would you help me find her a customer that's thinking about buying or listing their home before we close on yours? And when I approach it to the customer that I'm doing something to help my realtor, 6 out of 10 times, they will give you a referral and you will close 50% of those. Look, it's a great way for you to get another lead and a referral and also provide value back to your realtor. If you go to a realtor and go, look, I fight harder to get you more referrals and get you a deal back, and I have a system in place to do it, and I work my pre-quals better than any lender in the country, you're going to get realtors that want to work with you simply by your work ethic. And if you're next to them and in the weeds and willing to work open houses with them, they will see that, they will recognize that, and they will naturally want to work with you.
And I think all those things really create loyalty.
Wait, I have one more thing though. I have one more
Yes,
thing.
yes.
That was a mic drop, but I need to circle back one thing. So I think there's a lot of people that are like, how can I get them to even go in a meeting with me, right? When you're making your calls, we're all calling them. This is the one thing that's worked for us. And it's hands down changed the way that we get our conversions for the actual meeting. Make sure before you call them that you look at them on Instagram, you look at them on TikTok, and then you look at their Google reviews, okay? If you like the content, if you like anything, follow them on both and then leave them a review. It does not have to be a false review. It can be, hey, they are amazing and I've heard great things about them in this market and their signs are everywhere. Something like that, okay? Now you've already provided value to them. You're following them on 2 forms of social media and you left them a review. So when you call them, you'll be like, hey, I just checked out your social media. It's great. I love that. And also I left you a review. Then lead into your going to a meeting. Because when you provide value right off the jump, they are more likely to then say, okay, yeah, let me see what this person's about.
Do you?
Yeah, go ahead, Amy. Well, I think you got to catch what Adriana said. Like when you lead with a compliment, right? Us as humans, it's hard for us to hang up on that. And you said, oh my gosh, you had 159 Google reviews. That's outstanding. I'm a lender. I noticed it. I would love to learn how you're getting all those Google reviews. Like leading with a compliment and then a question will keep them on the phone long enough to where you can engage them to get to that point. But look, if you call 6 or 7 times and you're still not connecting, being consistent will eventually win the race. But many of us give up too soon. Amy?
12 weeks. Don't take them off your list until you've hit 12 weeks. And after 12 weeks, you better drop by that office with like a gift basket to be like, wow, either you don't work or you just personally put like, do not answer on my phone number.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah. So that was really my question. You know, what are ways that you engage realtors to meet with you? Old school, do they have time for coffee? Do you show up at their open houses? Do you ask for that invite? Do you go to their sales meetings? Like, really what are ways that you are approaching realtors to actually, meet with you and getting that face-to-face time?
I think it depends on the realtor, but number one is maybe you want to learn something. When you want to learn something, people are willing to help. And it's a great way to be able to do it. Number two is that you're never going to be their number one realtor. So stop asking, like being curious, being able to start to build that on that relationship, a cheesy gift of something out there that gets them to giggle or to laugh a little bit, right? But then also looking for an opportunity. And I want to work with, if you get a denial, I want to help you. If you're getting an opportunity where you can't get someone to call you back, I'll answer my phone. Like you're looking for any and every opportunity just to be able to get your foot in the door. My favorite one, Amy, it's expensive, but my favorite one time, I couldn't get this realtor to call me back. So finally I found out what their shoe size is and I sent them a really good pair of shoes. And I go, what's it going to take to get my foot in the door? Right. And I got the call and that became a really, really good agent. But look, you got to think outside the box in this market and you got to look and copy like everything that I've learned, everything that Adriana learned. We're just really good Xerox machine. Like we're good copiers. We hear an idea, we go back, we implement it and we put it into play. Nothing we're telling you today is unique or different. It's something we've learned from someone else.
Right. And it's so easy right now, more than it ever has been, right? Because we've got Facebook and TikTok and, we've got all these ways to see what is working for top producers. It's so easy to take that and implement it. And at the end of the day, you just have to do it, right? If you don't have the plan, you don't have the action items to cross off your bubble, every day, every week, you're never going to get where you want to go. And so, and realtors love attention and flattery, right? Who doesn't love to, have someone tell them that they are interested in them and that they want to help them and that they want to partner them and bring them more business. So yes, all those ways are paths to success in building that relationship with them.
Yes,
okay, so
there are some questions. I'll take it.
yeah.
First of all, I love LP Mama. That's a really cool term. Do you mind just?
I thought he was like a Freddie Mac, like.
I know, I was like, is this a Freddie
No,
Mac?
LP is loan. You want to just repeat that for our audience?
Guidelines.
Sure.
Okay.
So LP Mama, L location, right? Find out where they're thinking about. Is this the location you're interested in? Is this the perfect neighborhood? Is this by the school? You're trying to find something of where they're wanting to live. Number two, price point. Is this the particular price point you're looking for? Like understanding the price point that they're at. Three, what's your motivation? What was that one thing? What are you looking for? Yeah, I'm looking for a bigger kitchen, another bedroom, a great backyard for my dogs. Like finding out what a customer's motivation is the one thing that you can always lean back to. Number A, agent. Do you have an agent? Are you working with an agent? And when you ask that question, you'll watch the realtor squirm a little bit, but you're asking because when they say no, this is an opportunity for you to give honor to the agent that you're standing next to. Oh my gosh, Harish is amazing. You should be able to get connected with it. Harish, could you get, put them on the list, start to find some stuff. They're really looking for a home in this location. And then lastly, are you pre-approved? M is mortgage. So being able to roll through that naturally, right? Naturally through conversation. Look, we don't ever want to follow someone around an open house. But what we want to do is be able to say, can you do me a favor? Can you give me the two things that you really like about this house? Would love your feedback. Being able to ask that question, roll them through LP Mama, you're going to learn about it. You're going to be curious and you're going to get an opportunity to start a relationship and you're probably going to get their phone number. And remember, a lead is probably worth in today's market $500 to $600. So if that lead's worth it, would you fight to get that number?
So is there an actual A at the end of LP Mama is the question. Does it end with M?
It ends with M, I think.
So it's an LP Mom.
LP Man.
I'm gonna
make up one to make
it up. Make it up.
Make it ask. Ask them for their info.
There you go.
Go.
So, we finished it. Let me write that down.
Okay, and then I have a really quick question too, just on the realtor thing. So you're working with a buyer's agent and now there's a seller's agent introduced to the transaction. How do you interact with that agent? You don't have a relationship with them. Do you think there's a lot of opportunity there, and how do you do it?
Oh my God, this is my favorite. Sorry, Chris, can I jump in? Can I take
I
this
want
one? It's
you
my
to.
favorite part. I love it when LOs are like, oh, I got this piddly little deal. Oh my gosh, it's a hard one and it's going to be so exhausting. And it's just, and I'm like, that is another opportunity to build a relationship on the other side that I get excited for. So you call them, you say, hi, introduce yourself. Be like, this is my cell. I'm going to give you an update on how this transaction is going every Tuesday. If you need anything outside of that, please don't hesitate. Give me a call, shoot me a text, and I'll follow up with an email with all my contact info. And they're like, oh my gosh, no lender ever does this. Blah, blah, blah. They go into it about how they love it. Be like, great. When I knock this out of the park, I'd love to become one of your lenders that you can send your buyers to. But however, in the meantime, if you have a buyer right now that needs a local lender that has the most competitive rates, quick close, whatever it is, spit your value proposition out, would love to help a buyer right away.
So you
Safe.
instantly just kind of pull them into your team, right?
Heck
You're
yeah.
like, I got you. We're
Yep.
come along
And
for
you
the ride.
set that expectation that you're calling them every week. You set it there, because otherwise they're like, oh my gosh, why are they calling me again? They know you told them every Tuesday, I will call you with an update, with good, bad, or ugly. And then I always make a joke like, don't pester me for the appraisal value. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm just going to tell you we have the value and it's good. You know, like I always make jokes to them about like that, and they laugh. And then I would say we convert the majority of them. I don't have the statistic. I don't have the KPI, Harish. I need that built in. Help me build that in. I need that KPI.
Yeah,
That's
Well-
really good. You know, one thing is that, you know, calling right before the offer is coming in to the seller's agent is huge value that not every lender will do. Look, I've worked with Harish. I've got him, everything's pre-qualified. I've reviewed all of his assets and income. The only thing standing between us closing this deal is your property. So look, if you know anything that could ever happen or hear of something, I'm going to be following up with you on Tuesday. Please answer your phone, because I work very closely with my buyer's agent and I have to give Adriana a really good experience. It's my guarantee. So if you hear anything with this property, make sure you're communicating with me. I want to make sure I give everyone a good experience. Like, makes that seller's agent think. And then I see a lot of lenders promise that they're going to communicate with the seller's agent once, but then they quit. They don't stay in. It's the consistency that Adriana is doing that gets them to work with her. So you got to be consistent. If you promise it, you dang sure better do it. Otherwise, they're going to remember that.
ARIVE does it for me too. ARIVE also gives the updates as long as you select them. It'll send out the updates. We just got to work on making them a little prettier. I'll help them with that.
Well, and just talking about, you know, we're not really in a refi market, but what's so cool about a purchase market and the loan officers that really embrace purchases versus refis is there's really like three, you know, referral opportunities. There's three relationships that you're building versus the one refi. I mean, anybody can refi a loan, right? If you've got the right rate and you can get it closed in a, you know, within the lock term, but you have three opportunities to then leverage, right? And have that grow into more opportunities for you. So,
Title company too.
oh,
we can
true.
do it.
Yes. I'm sure there's even more, right? There's appraisers, there's people, there's
Appraisers won't refer you. Don't even get excited about appraisers.
but they
won't,
also
and we're
won't
not
talk bad
legally-
about you. Yeah.
We
I mean,
legally can't talk to them. Remember that. Remember, just like if you're
Okay,
saving nice shoes,
okay.
they're not over $25. Okay, just make sure you note that.
yeah.
But my point is, there's four. Title companies are your advocate, and you can tell them, hey, when an agent's upset at the table at their lender because they're frustrated about the experience that their clients had, let me know. Let me know when that happens.
Definitely. So last question is, you know, how do you use your database of contacts, whether it's past clients? We've talked a lot about realtors already, so maybe but what are opportunities within your existing database that LOs should be looking at?
I think that LOs need to be calling your database. A lot of LOs look at database like it's a refi opportunity. You're like, oh my gosh, you're so missing out.
And they
Like,
just
there's
let it
two
sit.
questions.
So, yeah.
There's two questions you need to be asking your database. Number one, are you okay? Like, look, we're in inflation. The cost of credit cards, HELOCs are crazy. Like, just being able to check in with no other motive than making sure your database is okay is your duty. If you say that that's your client for life, and you don't do anything but send them some emails, then you're not doing your job. So number one, make sure they're okay. Your database has tons of questions. So calling a letter of the week is our plan, and being able to make sure they're okay. Number two, being able to ask them what their real estate goals are for the next 5 years is crucial, because they will tell you things that they're thinking about. If someone says, I don't know, we're thinking about maybe getting a house in about a year or so, we'll see. That means they've already started to engage in thinking of the process, and will probably buy within 6 months, just by them simply saying that to you. So calling that database is super critical of checking in, making sure that they're okay. And then two, what are their real estate goals? But look, we introduced a new thing called 100 renters into 100 homes. And what we learned is that, again, doing it for someone else and on a mission really is an awesome opportunity to create referrals. So we started on our mission, and my loan officer called me. He did it on Thursdays. We call database on Thursdays. Friday, he calls me and goes, Chris, changed my world. I'll never ask for a referral any other way. I go, tell me what, Kyle, what happened? He goes, I got 13 referrals by letting everybody know in my database that I'm on a mission to help 100 renters get into 100 homes. Who do you know that's renting that I could have an opportunity to send them something? And because it was a mission, and because we were looking for one particular area, their brain could think of, oh, I have a niece that's renting. I have a nephew that's renting. My sister's renting. And they were able to send referrals. So database is the key. Like, look, my dad said always, why do you spend so much time looking for new when you already have people that know you, like you, and trust you? Wouldn't you want to spend most of your time working on that? And I'm telling every loan officer out there, look, you got to spend a good part of your week on your database. Adriana, what else do you do for your database?
I love that he tees me up. I'm about to tee him back up in a second. So we have a system like anything with it. So if you're not calling them once a quarter, I don't care what method you use. We use the alphabet method. It's out there. It's tried and true. Call them once a quarter. We also do annual mortgage reviews. If you're not doing them, do them. Okay. Then when they get their tax assessment, right now is a perfect time. You better post tons of social media videos, and then also use video back to your database to talk to them about their tax assessments. They need to come to you to pull an AVM, to pull a soft appraisal. If they're going to the assessor to fight that value, but hey, remind them that this means that their asset is actually appreciating, this is what real estate really is. Okay. So you're calling them once a quarter. I don't care what method you use. You're emailing them once a month. Don't do it more than that, guys. We all know that. Email is spam. Look at your Gmail accounts. Vincent, how many Gmail do you have? 15,000, 16,000? I guarantee he's got a ton on his Gmail account right now. If he holds up his iPhone, it's red. He's got a ton of red. And then lastly, the one that's making a big difference for us is small, corny, little mailers. Okay. So for March, we used the lottery ticket. I'm so lucky to have you as a past client. You put $1 scratch off in there. Okay. Spring showers for April, Cinco de Mayo for May, and then so on and so forth. Okay. So things like that. So one mailer each month, one email, one call each quarter. That's our system. And
Simple.
then lastly on that, for your past database calls, this is my thing. My LOs tell me this all the time. Oh my God, I don't want to bug them when I call them. Vincent, and this might be not so good for him. It's good for most people. When's the last time you bought a car? Let's listen.
6 or 7 months ago.
Do you remember the guy that sold you the car? I guarantee he uses the same one, so it doesn't really work for him, but whatever.
I do, yeah.
You do. Okay, never mind. We're not going to use you. Amy, when's the last time you bought a car?
Probably 14 months ago.
Do you remember who sold you your car?
No.
Okay, let's say her name's Sarah. What kind of car did you buy, Amy? You can make it up if you don't want to tell us.
Mercedes.
Okay. Hi, ring, ring. Amy, this is Adriana. I sold you your Mercedes 14 months ago, and I'm just checking in to see how that car's treating you. Would you be pissed that me, who sold you a car 14 months ago, remembered the make, model, likeness of that car and was just checking in to see how it's treating you?
No, I would be like, wow, that's a really long time for you to be
gosh,
thinking about
will
me.
you come help me and Harish build out ARIVE, and you can be a business development rep, right? You'd be like, you're amazing. People aren't mad, guys, if you haven't called them in 14 months. They're impressed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it wouldn't work for you, Vincent. I fully expect you to be like, oh, I bought a car a month ago.
Yeah. Look, I think that I want to tell you this. A lot of times when we're starting to call realtors, we're starting to call our database, we're starting to call real builders, and we get scared because we don't want to call them. It's because you're making it about you and you're not calling with the heart about them. When you started making it about them and you put your heart in that right spot, it makes those calls fun. And being able to interact and have great conversations will naturally create opportunities. Look, I don't care who you call in a week, just call a bunch of people and you'll get leads. But calling no one and not making a change into your plan will get you your same result. There's no rocket science. There's no perfect thing to say. Just simply care and don't make it about you. You'll get opportunity. And when you get opportunity, you're going to get closed loans.
Are you ready for the mic drop, Harish? This is all we need to say. This is a phone. Use it, people. That's it. And then drop. That's all we need to say.
And you don't need a magic script, right? You can just say, hi, I'm Amy. I'm reaching out and I'd love to know how I can help you, right? Is there any problems I can solve for you? Anything you're stressed about, anything I can, help you with? I mean, people want to be heard and they value that you're giving them your time and not necessarily asking anything of it, right? When you're approaching them, you're just showing up, and whether you're sending them a lottery ticket saying I'm thinking about you, or just literally calling to say, hey, how are you doing? And making conversation is a great way to start.
Yeah.
This is so amazing. So 1 hour just ran by. So again, thank you so much, Chris and Adriana, for taking the time. We really enjoyed the session. I hope our broker owners and LOs got something out of this. This has been recorded. There were many questions on this. This will be available on ARIVE YouTube channel in a few days. So, all this precious knowledge that we learned today will be available on YouTube shortly. But thank you again. We appreciate your time. Looking forward to hearing from you again shortly. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye,
you,
guys.
guys.
Thank you.